As I walked home last night, I saw a lone fox dancing in the cold moonlight. I stood and watched, then took the low road, knowing the night was his by right. Sometimes, when the words ring true, I am a lone fox dancing in the morning dew. The reason I'm doing today's review outdoors and not in my usual study is because the story of Ruskin Bond cannot be separated from nature. The poem that I just read is written by him and also lends its title to his autobiography, Lone Fox Dancing, which I'm going to review today. Hello everyone, this is Dushyant aka Dushike and welcome to Dushike Writes. Ruskin Bond has influenced the life of three generations of readers for nearly 60 years, and the summary of his life deserves to run a little longer than usual. So please bear with me a bit. As he sits down to write his biography in his current residence, Ruskin takes us on a journey of his life. He is amazed at his own memory and is surprised to realize just how much he remembers. By his own admission, no one can write the complete truth or divulge all the important details or interesting people in their lives. He himself writes, and I quote, "For it is the uninteresting people who have shaped me as an individual and as a writer." Born to an English father and mother, Ruskin was more British than Indian in appearance, which in the 1930s was not a bad thing. After living an idyllic early childhood in Jamnagar, he moves first to Dera to live with his granny and mother, and then to Delhi, where he spends time with his father. It is in Delhi during the 40s that he finds material for his first short story. During that time in Delhi, his parents get separated. He was not too worried though. The way he saw it, he did not get along too well with his mother, granny, and his cousins. And as long as he had his daddy, he did not need anyone else. Ruskin then goes on to speak candidly about his school and hostel stays in Shimla and his winter breaks in Dera. After the untimely death of his father and left with a family in which he does not really fit, having hardly any friends, a heartbroken Ruskin sinks into illness, and with the guiding hand of a father gone, looks to figure out the direction of his life on his own. Nature, long walks in the hills, the movies come to the aid of young Ruskin, and he makes some eccentric but good friends in the process. At his new school, he develops the habit of reading books and begins writing as well. After he finishes his education, because of the limited options that were available then, he decides not to pursue a college education and instead takes up writing as a profession. Ruskin decides to go to England and pursue his dream further without knowing anyone there and without any connections. At the raw age of 17, he, he leaves the shores of India for England. The love for his country and its nature, more than its people, pulls him back. And flowing against the tide of people leaving the country in the 50s, Ruskin decides to come back to India. In the final section, he writes about losing his restlessness and taking a gamble by living in the sleepy hill town of Mussoorie, surrounded by hills, greenery, trees, birds, mist, rain, wild cats, an occasional visiting eccentric friend, and an adopted family that sort of grew around him. He admits being technologically backwards and not accepting to use a computer or even a mobile phone. He brings us back to his current abode and has taken us through the various houses that he occupies, the places where he got his inspiration, especially mentioning which place and which people inside which story. Now, for my review, I had once described Pride and Prejudice as an emotion. I would describe this autobiography as an experience. Ruskin's writing is like someone playing a classical tune. There is nothing jarring, there is nothing loud, but pretty soon you are swaying to it. The narrative enters your very being and connects you to the writer. The exceptional quality in the writing I found was how wonderfully well he portrays the mundane and daily routines of our lives. A lot of writers seek fame or fortune, but Ruskin does not desire either. He just wants to earn enough to sustain himself, live his life in the solitude and peace of the mountains, and occasionally have people for companionship. The book is divided into 22 short sections, and it took me around 8 hours to finish reading the book. The pace of the book is also like that of the narrow gauge trains at our hill stations, peaceful, smooth, with a steady progress and a lot of nature to look at. The graph of the story is also very rhythmic, and the story moves in a linear manner. Though the events mentioned are not always chronological, you don't have to turn the pages back and forth to get a hang of the story. This is not the story of a world conquering adventurer or a man eating war general. This is about a man who is still a boy at heart and who loves taking walks in the hilly woods of Mussoorie and Dera with nowhere to go and in no hurry to get there. Having said that, the book is not a dread to read at all. In fact, it is a treasure trove of references for nice classical music, songs, books, writers, etc. I would advise the reader to sit with a pen and a notepad and take notes of all the music and books that Ruskin suggests. Ruskin also specifically talks about the books and writers that influenced him personally. The narrative is pleasant and the writing splendid. There is also a true account of the real life of a writer. The hardships, the challenges, the uncertainties, all of which come along with the job. About the awards and the financial stability that came very late in his life, he writes, I guess if you keep doing something for 50 years, people will take notice. Throughout the book, he presents such a unique rendition of stop and smell the pine tree concept that you are compelled to give it a thought. At the end of the book, you realize that you have just met a personality or a brilliant author, but also a sweet, genuine person. You miss his friends when they are separated, and you are happy and content when he writes, it is good to be one place for a certain length of time in order to savor the passing seasons, the comings and goings of people, and above all, to watch the children grow. A special mention about two pieces of writing that leave the hair on my whole body standing whenever I think of them. First, when a young Ruskin is given the news of his father's untimely death, he writes, and I quote from memory, the bottom has fallen off my world. The only person that I loved and the only one who loved me is no more. And second, when he travels back home for the first time after his father's death and there is no one at the station to receive him, he had he did not even have an address to go to. He writes, they had forgotten that I was coming today. I expected that. The only person who ever made time for me had gone away forever. Both of these came before he was 10 years of age. I hope you have liked the review. Please let me know your reaction in the comment section below, and please do not forget to like the video and press the bell icon to get regular updates. Thank you so much for your time.